So, I have a complaint to make. I love my boyfriend. We're in a healthy relationship, touch woods, as the word. Yes. But he is way too into scary content. He makes us watch scary movies almost every movie night. He's always listening to true crime podcasts or true crime videos. And it is sometimes driving me crazy. I'm not the one to, get afraid from a scary content or two. I have graduated from medical school. I have seen my fair share of gore content. But being surrounded by them almost all the time is kind of, has some burden on me. Has put some weight on my shoulders somehow. It has made me feel very uncomfortable in some situations. And as I always do, I started to think about it, and I started to think about scary content. And like I said, my boyfriend is listening to true crime podcasts and watching scary movies at the same time. And it has made me realize that scary movies used to be real life. Because some of the things that we watch that are, said to be, scary content or, unimaginably scary, used to be real life stories. Because some of the stories that he's listening to in his podcasts, not in his podcast, but the podcast that he's following, are even worse than the movies that we watch. It is that has made me very curious, and I want to explore that a little further with you today. And I want to start off by saying that I'm aware that my boyfriend is not alone. I also have many friends that love to watch scary movies and love to listen to true crime stories, both at the same time. I know those people are called morbid curious. They are people that are curious about morbid things that are, defined specifically in scientific papers. And I'm aware that there are many people like this. But why? This is a whole industry. There are way too many scary movies, and obviously they make way too much money. But why? But how? Because they used to be real life, right? So what has changed? And there might be some, underlying reasons for that I have came up with. I have not researched this. I have not, looked at it myself. I have not done any, personal scientific research on this. But there might be some underlying causes with this. I'm not going to, start with genetics, but they might be caused by your hormones, especially adrenaline or dopamine, because it's obviously an adrenaline. It gives you an adrenaline rush, and it makes you feel alive in a way, because those jump scare scenes makes you feel all kinds of things, including heart rush, high blood pressure, and all those things, which I do when we watch scary movies. And dopamine, because those jump scares also giving you very short stimulation, which is helping you get, very short rewards. Because it is the same as finding the electrical pen in its whole set. There has been psychological research on people and on humans' curiosity, and how people would choose to find the electrical pen and shock themselves to find it, because that's how curiosity works. And I'm not sure if it is, linked directly with dopamine system, but it is in a way kind of like dopamine rush. So this might be the second reason. Or thirdly, it might be escapism somehow, because this is my boyfriend's words. He says that he doesn't want to watch drama because he has enough drama, or he sees enough drama. He also works in a hospital. He's a nurse. And I kind of agree with him. But we could watch some animation. We don't have to watch scary movies. That's what I don't understand. And that is how morbid curious people are defined as. Maybe he is conditioning his brain to such goric, such graphic content that real life feels easier for him, which I can kind of agree. I would very much rely upon him if we had kind of an accident, because he kind of has that cold blood with those situations. I'm the drama guy. I'm helpful in a very dramatic or very psychologically distressful event. He's the he's the accident guy. Anyways, it's not as easy as saying it is escapism, because it's not just escapism. Like I said, it is kind of helpful, but it is escapism that when I watch them, I cannot think about the things I'm going through in my life, because it is, that much distracting to me. And all those things, to me, none of them seem very appetizing per se, but many people choose that. And maybe with my, very little understanding, that's how far I can go. Maybe if I was to talk with someone that, like if I was to talk with my boyfriend basically, and he would say something very more specific, what he's going through or what he's feeling, which I have not done, but that's okay. We're just thinking, just exploring. This is a thought experiment, and we're going to see how far we can go. But also, like I said, there is one other aspect, that these movies, these stories used to be real life. And if you have ever watched a drama movie, or if you have ever read a drama book from 100 years ago, you're going to see that the things that they're going through are actual nightmare for us. The things that they're dealing with, the things that are said on those, written on those books, or have been said in those movies, are actual nightmare. The things that they go through, blah blah blah. But if you look at scary movies from 100 years ago, the one that comes to my mind is Frankenstein, and it is kind of a slow-paced movie with very little jump scares. There's one that man, obviously, and that is the thing that scares people, and that story is kind of comical right now. We have many animation movies that have the same story arc. As you can see, the taste in scary movies or scary stories have changed quite a lot. And we also have people that listen to true crime or watch true crime stories. And maybe it is also the same thing as it is priming our brains to these stories so that we can be prepared for them in real life. That's maybe how their thoughts work. I don't understand personally, but it might be. But I find that very interesting, because one, it shows that how much we have progressed as a society or as a species. Two, this change in the preference of this content shows us how daily human behavior works. Because, like I said, Frankenstein used to be a scary movie, but now it's a kid's story. It is interesting. It is weird also, but it is interesting nonetheless. And it is showing us how we deal with things in our day-to-day life. It is showing us how we behave in our day-to-day life, how we go through things. What we define as scary has changed so much that it is kind of, this whole change is kind of in and of itself is a portrait of human transformation in recent centuries, and I find that very interesting. And also, I don't admire people that watch or listen to scary stories. I respect them. They have their, they're very strong. They're very powerful. But I would like to talk, I think we can talk about some drama as well. I think that is very needed right now with things that we are going through. I think we need to be primed in drama more than we need to be primed in scary things. That's what I'm saying. Because, with scary things, if something scary was to happen to you in real life, there are some safety nets in society, at least. There are some, at least. If there was an accident, or we can just talk about accidents. If we're talking about paranormal things, you don't have any safety nets. You're going to be casted away from society probably, because that's how society works mainly. But if you were to have an accident, very traumatic things, we have safety nets and we have support systems. With dramatic things, or with like real life true drama, True drama. We have not been able to define them very clearly so that we can have support systems in those situations, like, domestic violence and mental struggles and all that. We need to, I think, talk about those more so that we can have stronger support systems for those situations as well. So, yeah, this was my ramble for today. Also, I am very thankful for everyone that has supported human rights so that we don't live in scary movies anymore. Thank all of you. Thank you. Yeah, thanks a lot. And we should also support human rights too, because we still have some problems with that as well. That is one other topic that is needed to talk about way more than it is talked about. And if you like this, please leave a like down below. If you have any opinions or ideas about the things that I have said, please leave them down below in the comment section. If you have liked this, please subscribe to my channel so that you can see more videos like this. Until next time, please take care of yourselves. Bye bye.